Thank you all. We'll get started shortly. Circling back on the request for accommodation, we are unable to accommodate the request at the meeting today. Thank you. Before we get started, I see another hand raised on the Zoom platform. Phil, can you let us know if you have general comment or comment on any of our agenda items today? You can.
Yep, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, general and comment on all items. Thank you.
Thank you. Ready? All right, President Corsand, we are now in record mode.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Board of Public Works meeting for Wednesday, November 27th. Ms. Zatorsky, if you'd like to take roll call and establish quorum for us, please.
Yes, of course. Good morning, everyone. Devin Zatorsky with the Board of Public Works taking role in establishing quorum. We're joined by President Corsand, President Pro Tem Grant, Commissioner Kang, and Commissioner Mitchell, and we have quorum. It is exactly 10 a.m. We have 6 speaker cards under general public comment, no neighborhood council commentary, and we do have speaker cards for multiple agenda items.
Okay, we'll proceed with general public comment and multiple agenda comment items. We have our City Attorney, Virginia Choi, on hand to make sure our speakers stay on topic. Public comment is an opportunity for the public to address the board on public interest items and will be provided 1 minute per person for a cumulative of 10 minutes for general public comment. The board will also provide an opportunity for the public wishing to speak on more than one agenda item during multiple agenda item comment for up to 1 minute per item for a total of 3 minutes per meeting. I don't believe we have anyone here in person, so we'll just go to the Zoom platform.
Great, we'll go through in the order. We'll start with general public comment and we'll go through in the order that we have our hand raised. So Audit LA, you can go ahead and unmute yourself. You'll have 1 minute for general public comment.
Good morning, commissioners and everyone. I'm here to, guess what, talk about the planters again. They are still not ADA compliant. In fact, they are doubling down. They've been told they have to remove them, but now they put them closer, which they have, and they planted poinsettias in them just to mock the city, mock everyone else. I have decided it is time for me to just put in a claim with the city. So I am putting you on notice. I am suing the city over it. And I may go even talk to the federal about it because I have a right to access those blocks. And, you know, it should be at the point now, then let me do self-help. Let me get people together to remove them. Now, if you are making it to where, you know, you're saying, okay, we're giving them time to apply for permits, and if that's legal to do so, that's fine. Although the materials are not Board of Engineering approved, so it's not going to get approved on that way either. But you cannot have it continue to be ADA
Thank you, caller.
non-compliant while you.
Our next hand raised is caller Crazy Love is Love. If you can unmute yourself, you'll have 1 minute for general.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to comment on the planters around Scientology. I have watched these planters be a nuisance to the community. I've watched the public trip over these. I've watched kids fall, and I've watched the elderly be, you know, it be of a hazard. At this point in time, I think that if you guys aren't going to handle it, I think the community is going to have to come together, and I think the community is going to have to take care of it because you guys are not doing anything about it. And unfortunately, that's what's going to have to happen because this
Thank you. That's 1 minute. Next hand raised is caller Mona M. You'll have 1 minute for general public comment.
Thank you. And if I can ask for a point of clarification, please. I don't have to tell you this, but I do have a TBI, and trying to squish all my words in 1 minute doesn't allow me to effectively communicate under Title II. I am appealing to ask for a slight accommodation.
Unfortunately, we will not be able to provide that.
Okay, well, I will try and get in there. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. This will come up under an ADA item. Reminder, the city of LA is under a 30-year, $1.4 billion fixed judgment, Willits versus LA from the Department of Justice. This was litigated under Title II of the ADA. There was a judgment this year for the HAVA, the Help America Vote Act requirements. That too is litigated under the Department of Justice. One bad thing that was removed from ADA is you no longer can litigate for punitive damages. However, they have kept the liability and responsibility is still shared among the entities. So kicking the can down the road to City Council won't help. And believe me, this will be added because now I'm just really lost all my train of thought and this really sucks. So I will be adding this to the ADA requirements. It pisses me off.
All right, next caller, that's 1 minute, is Yvonne. You'll have 1 minute for general.
Thank you. I'm going to try to fit it all in. I'm going to file a complaint regarding actually the complaint has already been filed. Your methodology of not recording minutes properly. The public speakers are not noted in your minutes. They should have their name or pseudonym and a summarized statement included in the minutes. And not only during the general, but all agenda items that are spoken to. Your record keeping and your presentation that minutes have been reviewed is erroneous and it's a lie. I demand to have continued standing to take this department and city to court. Thank you.
Thank you. Next caller is Gigi's phone. If you can unmute yourself, you'll have 1 minute.
We've been waiting for months, but the planners still stand, and the easement blocking the way, it's getting out of hand. City said move them, but they're still in place. Time to act now. This is such a disgrace. Public Works, what's the deal? What's the delay? We've been asking for months. It's time to make way. Lawsuits are coming. You can bet that's true. What's it going to take for y'all to follow through? Get these planners moved, clear the easement today. You gave the order, now don't delay. It's been long enough, we're tired of the talk. Get them out of here, stop blocking the walk.
Thank you, caller. Last caller on general is caller Phil. If you'll have 1 minute.
Yeah, I just want to ask why there's less than 6 CISs in the past 2 years written. Do you know that of 99 neighborhood councils, there's about 6 in the last couple of years? Why are you not soliciting feedback from stakeholders? Why do I have to do your work for you? Why do you even receive a salary? And why do you think that just because you haven't been served today doesn't mean that you're not going to be served? Because as part of that ADA lawsuit, the neighborhood councils are coming after you too. They're coming after you. They're coming after you in court. And you guys will have your day in court. You know, it's all fun and games until it's not, until it's a court case. And we'll see you in court. Why are you not working with each of the 99 neighborhood councils to solicit a community impact statement. Why are you not working with any of the 99 neighborhood councils
Thank you.
to
1 minute.
solicit a
All right, we'll move on to
Multiple agenda items, please.
multiple agenda items. Let's reset the timer for. We'll go in the same orders of callers that have their hands raised. Audit LA, we'll start with you. You'll have 3 minutes to comment on the agenda items on today's agenda.
Thank you. Excuse me. I am noticing lately a lot of agenda items regarding water. Like and to the point where it's concerning me. Like, is there something wrong with the water that you guys are scrambling and throwing so much money at it that it's like taking priority over everything? Like, out of what 4 agenda items today, 3 of them are on water. And it seems to me, now I don't know if the Tillman one is the same one, like that Commissioner Grant was saying, which, I understand, like you're saying that these, like you're putting all this money at it, and that's a huge jump, by the way. We're talking, if I'm reading it correctly, and I'm not the engineering mind, but it looks like we're having a $500 million raise in funds, or is it a 29 million raise in funds? I'm not sure, or whatever. That's a lot of money. And I'm fearing that it's going to be, because you're throwing all this money that the city does not have. We're like on the verge of bankruptcy. We don't have it. And I believe that you're putting all this other money to make it not just a functional thing. Okay. Like, it should just be function, not like all this like elaborate Disney-esque thing. Like the other, like Hyperion, you made it. It's beautiful. It's great. Yeah. The community, no one's going to go but school kids probably on school trips, and so they have a nice thing. Fine. But we can't afford it, okay? You have to live within your budget. Yeah, we all have to live within our means. We get a certain amount, but it's almost like, you guys are just writing blank checks that we just don't have. We know LAPD gets the lion's share of our budget. They're asking for more, and so it's just ridiculous at this point. And when is it gonna, when are you gonna be more mindful with the money? I told you, my idea is to have Disney come and invest money into these things to make it more fancy for the neighborhood. Like, if you want it, go in the partnership. It doesn't have to be Disney, it could be anyone, but go in partnerships to make it fancy for the community, like, like where you could go and just enjoy and have a restaurant and see how water's cleaned. But you can't just keep throwing money at where we are. It's on the burden of the taxpayer. Like, look at LAPD too. Another thing you can learn from them. They have a foundation. They get tons of boatloads of money from God knows where. We don't know. But, they get all this extra money to buy their toys and their, military style equipment, whatever it is that they need. You guys could do that. You guys could get a foundation to where people can donate, because people want clean water, whatever. Maybe you could get donations to help pay for this extra stuff, because we don't need it. We do not need, and like fancy Smith. We need function. I just want clean water. Like,
Thank you. That's your
I'm
time.
terrified of our water.
Next hand raised for multiple items is Crazy Love is Love. You'll have 3 minutes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I'd like to address the proposed budget increase. The increase goes from 140,000 to over $1 million in substantial. More details on this is extremely needed. And additionally, what measures are you going to put into place to ensure the funding is used efficiently? However, my concern extends beyond this project, because Scientology has repeatedly misused the city resources. So what are you guys going to do, with this budget and approving this budget to enforce, like the city fails to enforce the basic rules with one organization? So how are you guys gonna, giving them this budget? How are you guys going to, enforce the rules with all, uh, things across the board. Um, and then I'd like to comment on the proposed amendment, the design build contract with the Jacobs project. Increasing the contract ceiling from 29.8 million over to over 522 million. That's a significant escalation, and I believe it warrants a detailed justification. However, my concerns, again, go beyond this project. Scientology has repeatedly violated the city rules and misused public resources, including failing the false police reports without facing consequences. So when you guys have these management companies and you guys are increasing these budgets, if the city does not enforce its standards fairly and consistently through these different contracts and these projects, with everybody across the board, hundreds of millions of dollars that will be managed over the proper sites and integrity. We've got to be very, very careful with the money that we are using within our city. And so I've also like to express the support for the Measure with Safe and Clean Water program. Multiple transfer agreements with the critical step of securing the funds to improve the water quality and infrastructure for Los Angeles. However, these funds are allocated. I urge the city to
Thank you. That's
prioritize
time. Next hand raised is Yvonne. If you can unmute yourself, you'll have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Item number 1, the use of technology for processing your papers and documents and so forth. That is fine. I want to encourage that. However, to go to a completely paperless system is inappropriate. Because, as you know, people can hack your programs and hold it hostage, and what the city going to shut down for a week, 2 weeks, a year before you can access your materials that are stored in some cloud somewhere. We have seen this in the past, and there is no accommodation for the continuance of using the paper method in such urgency or times. Not only does the paperwork have to be available, the staff needs to be available and trained to maintain both systems. The second question I would have regarding this particular proposal is that how many of those data input
Speaker, please stay on topic with
facilities are
respect to
going to
the
be
items being
local?
considered by the board today.
Number 1 is not being considered?
It is, but please stay on topic as to the Jacobs Project Management Company's project design build
Well, that
agreement.
that is related to them. They have a choice as to where they place their employees. Now, are you going to continue to interrupt me? Are you done? I'd like to reclaim my time. The employees of those contracts should be locally based, and the data should be locally based. Those are jobs leaving and money and resources leaving the city, and that shouldn't be encouraged. Number 2, 3, and 4, or number 2 and 3. I understand after reading 3,309 pages of this agenda packet that you may not have done so. In those contracts, it states the slavery admonitions against slavery, use of slave labor, and I appreciate that. However, I do not see any indication as to which department and how to communicate and report those conditions to the city I'm going to assume from this point forward that it is through the contracting and contract management. The good news is the water,
Thank you, caller. That's time. All right, next hand raised is caller Phil. If you could go ahead and unmute yourself. You'll have 3 minutes.
Why is no CIS report taken for consideration here? Why is no CIS report taken for consideration? Why is no CIS report taken for consideration? Why is no CIS report taken for consideration? Why was no CIS report taken for consideration? Why was no CIS report
Thank you.
taken
Please
for
stick to the
consideration?
topic or you're going to forfeit your
Why
time.
is no CIS report but a BFC was taken for consideration on this motion? Why was no CIS report taken for consideration on this motion, but a BFC was? Why is no CIS report taken for consideration, but a BFC was? Why is no community impact statement report taken for consideration, but the BFC report was? Why is no
Stick to the
CIS
topic or
report
you're
taken for
going to
consideration?
forfeit the rest of your time.
Why is no CIS report taken for consideration? Why is no CIS report taken for consideration? Why is no CIS report taken for consideration, but the
Okay,
BFC
we're going to have to
was?
cut your time. You were warned by the city attorney to stay on topic. Ms. Zatorsky, we'll go to the next caller, please.
That is our last hand raised. We'll make one last call for any hands on the Zoom. But I don't see any hand raised on the Zoom platform, so.
Thank you, Ms. Zatorsky. With that, we'll close general public comment and multiple agenda item public comment. We'll proceed to approval of the minutes for Wednesday, November 13th. If there is a second to my motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Zatorsky. There's a first from myself and a second from Commissioner Mitchell.
Great, we'll take the roll call starting with you, President Corsand,
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant,
Aye.
Commissioner King,
Aye.
and Commissioner Mitchell.
Aye.
Wonderful, all ayes, the item is adopted.
Thank you. We'll move on to item number 1, which is a joint report from Bureau of Street Services and Bureau of Engineering in all council districts, a revised task order solicitation number 77 for SOMAS. Do we have any public comment just for this item? We do not. Okay. With that, we'll proceed to the presentation from Alice Kim.
Hi, good morning. Thank you, President Corsand. Good morning, commissioners, board members. I'm happy to be here. My name is Alice Kim. I am the Senior Civil Engineer with Bureau of Street Services. I am here before you to revise the task order solicitation number 77 to SOMAS to provide engineering support services for the Enterprise Asset Management System. I am here to request an increase in budget authority of $145,000 to $1,050,896, including contingency. To give you a brief overview, the Bureau of Street Services started the implementation of the Enterprise Asset Management Project in 2021. This project is to align the Bureau's vision, mission, and policies by streamlining the planning, prioritization, and execution of street infrastructure projects. The goal is to convert a paper-based project into a digital, data-driven system for all operational systems and support services within our Bureau into the Enterprise Asset Management System. Our current system does not provide real-time asset performance or maintenance needs. Therefore, we need to implement this project. Currently, our system does not provide real-time asset performance, as I mentioned, and due to the lack of staff's availability and expertise, we utilize the Bureau of Street Services pre-qualified on-call wastewater and environmental services consultant list to seek support. We solicited this task on March 9th of 2023 with an authorized amount of $145,000. When we solicited, we received one proposal, which was SOMAS. The scope of work is to have the consultant to provide training and coaching support to implement this asset management system. However, due to evolving programming demands, we have revised the task to have the consultant to fully implement one operational program itself instead of multiple programs and services. Therefore, an increase in budget authority is necessary to provide additional services to implement the remaining operational systems and support services to fully establish the enterprise asset management system bureau-wide. This revised task extends the initial duration from 6 months to an additional 18 months, totaling of 24 months. As part of this task, as mentioned in the board report, SOMAS complies and will exceed the business inclusion program outreach requirements. And lastly, the funding has been secured through the general funds for this task. This concludes my report, and I'm here to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Kim. Commissioners, do we have any questions on this item? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve this item?
Second.
So move.
Okay. Ms. Zatorsky, we'll switch that around. We have a first from Commissioner Mitchell and a second from Commissioner Grant.
Great. All right, let me get that down, and then we'll take the roll call. We'll start with you, President Corsan.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant.
Aye.
Commissioner King.
Aye.
And Commissioner Mitchell.
Aye.
Wonderful. All ayes. The item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Kim.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 2, which is all, from the Bureau of Sanitation, Bureau of Contract Administration in Council District 6, an amendment to number 1 for Jacobs Project Management Companies. Do we have any public comment item on this item?
No, we don't have any commenters
Okay.
for item number 2.
Great. Thank you. Mr. Ryan Thea, if you'd like to proceed with the presentation.
Good morning, President Kosan, Commissioners. My name is Ryan Thea. I'm the Assistant Division Manager at LA Sanitation and Environment. I'm here for item number 2 today. LA Sanitation would like to recommend that the Board of Public Works authorize and approve the President and 2 members of the Board of Public Works to execute the amendment number 1 to the Progressive Design Build Contract C 142633 with Jacobs Project Management Company, also known as Jacobs, to increase the cost ceiling from $29,822,335 to $522,000,000, $382,750.71, and to add and proceed with the construction and performance validation phase, or the phase 2 of the Donald C. Tillman Water Reclamation Plant Advanced Water Purification Facility once as-to form approval has been obtained from the City Attorney's Office. The duration of this contract will remain the same and will expire on February 7, 2028, which is 5 years from the execution of the initial contract. I would like to start with some background information for this project. This project is located at the southeast corner of Donald C. Tillman Water Reclamation Plant at 6100 Woodley Avenue, Encino neighborhood of City of Los Angeles. The goal of this project is to design and construct a facility that will produce up to 25 million gallons of advanced treated water. With the expansion, it could treat up to 30 million gallons a day. That will be able to produce indirect potable reuse water, enough water to supply 250,000 customers that live in the community. The project will install membrane filtration systems, reverse osmosis, ultraviolet advanced oxidation process, which is a proven technology, and associated systems to achieve the project objectives. The purified water will be conveyed to Hanson Spreading Grounds through the existing 54-inch purple line. This project, Advanced Water Purification Facility, is a part of Los Angeles Groundwater Replenishment Program, and it is fully funded through the MOA or agreement between LA Sanitation, Board of Public Works, and Water and Power. The agreement was approved by both Water and Power and LA Sanitation Board back in October a few weeks ago for the capital expenditure of $740 million and for the operation and maintenance of the facilities for the next 35 years. This project is being implemented through a progressive design build contract managed by LA Sanitation. This program actually began in the early 1990s when city constructed the East Valley Water Reclamation Project, or also known as the 54-inch purple line from Tillman, and Hanson Sperring Ground. However, the program went through a big pause until close to 2017, when City revived the program and completed the EIR for the whole program. After that, between 2018 and 2021, LASN issued requests for proposals to implement the AWPF, and we selected Jacobs. In December 2022, Board of Water and Power and Public Works signed the MOA to fund the design of the program. In the same month, the Board of Public Works awarded the design phase of this contract to Jacobs. So over the past 20 months, since the project award, the team worked really hard to complete the design phase. LASN also received the guaranteed maximum price for the construction phase and performance validation phase for this project from Jacobs a couple of months ago, October. Jacobs also submitted the final design package as of yesterday, so we're at the end of the design phase. The engineering phase scope of work includes complete design, permitting, geotechnical and site investigation, flow and hydraulic analysis, subcontractor outreach, major equipment design and specification submittals, and all the work associated with completing the design. The contract ceiling for the design phase is not to exceed $29,822,735. And as of today, we spent approximately $23.7 million at the completion of the design. And it is expected that at the close of the engineering phase work, the project will achieve 16.6 minority business enterprise, 5.8 women-owned business enterprise, 18.36 small business enterprise, 0.89% emerging business enterprise, and 6.1 other business enterprise for a small business participation program, for the total subcontractor participation amount of $6.18 million for the engineering phase. Now let's move on to the construction phase. The phase of work includes general construction, equipment procurement, programming and instrumentation, commissioning and startup, engineering services during the construction, subcontractor management, general condition items, and optional performance validation phase services. So subcontractor work out of all the packages is one of the largest items shown in item 2 of the table 1. And the subcontractor package can be generally divided into site preparation, civil work, yard piping, mechanical, electrical, structural steel, concrete, building exterior, programming and instrumentation, educational features, and a few other items, to name a few. For the construction phase, Jacobs began its subcontractor outreach earlier this year in February, and they have selected 55 subcontractors to participate in the project construction phase, with a total subcontracting amount of $233 or $234 million out of the guaranteed maximum price, which is close to 50% of the total contract amount. Because AWPF, along with the other projects, received loan from US EPA Water Infrastructure Financial Innovation Act for the amount of $224 million, we are required to waive local business preference program. And as a result, at the project award for the design phase, the Board of Public Works approved the waiver for the requirements of LBPP. We also determined that this project cannot be divided into smaller work packages to meet the community level contracting. So we talk about the grants and loans. City received quite a few substantial financial support from state, local, and federal agencies. And as of today, we have received close to $430 million from WIFIA, U.S. Bureau of Reclamation, Metropolitan Water Districts, Local Resource Program. So the project itself, is more than 50% subsidized by local, federal, and state funds. So we're really proud of it. With this project and a few other projects that sanitation is implementing as a part of this program, we will be able to produce somewhere between 500 to 600 full-time jobs for over the next 5 years, and 30 to 40 full-time jobs throughout the project lifetime, which is somewhere between 35 to 50 years. So a lot of businesses come into the community. So as a conclusion, it is LA Sanitation's recommendation that the contract for DCT 8 Loop PF be amended to include construction and performance validation phase and increase the contract amount to $522 million. LA Sanitation obtained the S2 form approval from the City Attorney's Office on October 29, 2024. And also, as a closing note, I would like to thank Department of Water and Power board members, their leadership, Jesus Gonzalez, who is here today, and Mayor's Office, who has been behind this program all the way along, Bureau of Engineering, who is the construction manager for this program, and Bureau of Contract Administration, who will be at the construction site from the day one. So with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, do we have any questions on this item? Commissioner Mitchell?
I'm sure you answered this question, but to be clear, the proper allocation of resources have been identified not to exceed the bid amount? 522, the contract amount, rather?
Yes, are you referring to the funding allocation to pay?
So in other words, the funds are available to complete the project pursuant to the contract amount?
That is correct. The funds are available because of the large amount of the contract. We are going to be allocating the funds on a fiscal year basis. So I think the first batch of funds will be close to $30 million to pay for the first few months of the construction invoices, and we'll continue to process that way as we don't want to hold too much of the capitals for the construction.
And as a design-build project, is there any liability should that project exceed the contract amount?
Thank you. So the beautiful thing about progressive design build is that the risks are clearly identified and liabilities is shifted to more towards the design builder. So as the execution of the contract, the contractor or Jacobs here take on all the liabilities and responsibilities associated with the design build, including the design work and construction phase work.
So in other words, if there's an excess, say $30 million over and above the contract amount that is allocated toward the contractor, correct?
That is correct. So the guaranteed maximum price for this project is $646 million. That doesn't include the contingencies and other services, but for whatever reason, the project cost goes over that, Jacobs has to absorb that cost because they have guaranteed the maximum price to not exceed that amount.
And what about cost savings?
Sorry, say that again.
What about cost savings if in fact the contract is performed and there are cost savings in the contract less than the contract amount?
Thanks for the question. So another thing that we like the progressive design build is when there are savings, it goes to the city, back to the city. So for every subcontractor package, every item that you see as a part of the attachment to the contract, we know how much is being spent, the actual expenditures. We reconcile it at the end of the completion of each scope line item, and the saving goes to the city. So, just because we have $646 million as a cost ceiling doesn't mean we are going to spend that much. If there are savings, technology improves, and for every line item we save, it goes back to the project funds.
I have no further questions.
Thank you. Any other commissioners questions? Commissioner King?
So thank you for coming in the other day for a detailed briefing. Just to remind me, I know we're trying to finish this project before the Olympics. Can you remind me the timeline?
Yes, I forgot to mention the timeline. So if we're going to start the construction in the next couple of weeks, and we hope to be able to produce water by the mid-2027 and finish the construction before Olympics. So that's early 2028 when the contract expires in February. So one thing that we highlighted in the past presentation is that this facility includes the educational features on the second floor, which is a showcase facility for the city that we can use during the Olympics. We also wanted to finish construction before Olympic traffic kicks in. So those are a few, the deadlines that we're aware of in order to meet the goals. And the fact is that the sooner we can produce water, the better it is, because each day we don't produce water, we're relying on imported water.
Any other questions? I do. I think this is a great project, definitely necessary, so I just want to put that part aside. I know when this came before us, the first go around, I had said, it seems like we're just building this as a model for Jacobs just to win it because it's what Jacobs does. They have a long relationship at Tillman. And then, and it's not to say there's anything wrong with Jacobs. I don't want to say that at all. I just find a hard time digesting how we did this one. And I just want to make sure going forward, as there are other major projects in development, that we do not pursue this model. And I said that the last time, and I understand we are where we are, and we have to do this. But to have an engineering company take on a large contract to design a project that they're clearly going to bid on and they're going to compete for really makes it harder for other engineering firms and construction firms to then compete for that item, in my opinion. And that's based on just my opinion from previous years in equities research. I think to open up opportunities means we have to do things in a different way that says if you're going to bid on design, there must be a different way on how we do the construction side. Again, it's not anything negative about Jacobs. The process itself, I just take issue with. But I understand the position that you're coming to us with, and how we got here was joint agreements that kind of put the urgency on things, and we have to deliver this project at a certain time. I just think as a city of this scale and projects that will be of this size going forward, it's just me really patting myself on the back for saying, like, I knew this is where we were going to end up, and this is where we ended up. So I voted yes last time with that clarity, and I will make a motion to move this item forward with that clarity. If there's a second, but it looks like Commissioner Grant has something to add.
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Zatorsky, there's a first from myself, and there's a second from President Pro Tem Grant.
Thank you, President Corson. We'll take the roll, starting with you.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant,
Aye.
Commissioner Kang,
Aye.
and Commissioner Mitchell.
Aye.
Wonderful. All ayes. The item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any chance I can address your comment just to make sure we have it on the record?
Sure.
Okay. So I really thank you for your comment, and this is our sentiment that we make sure that we have a diverse workforce to be able to bid on large projects. Going back to the history, we decided to go with the progressive design bill with the intent to award the construction phase to the design, because the design builder has to have a capacity to both design and construct, and the transition has to be seamless. And the best thing about this is the guaranteed maximum price, as opposed to lowest bidder, where we might see a lot of construction-related issues when you go with the lowest bid, when they might not be able to perform a project this scale and complexity that has a lot of revolving, moving parts. So we did went through a series of checks and balances, getting from Charter 1022 recommendation all the way to working with the city attorney's office to make sure everything is competitive. We have worked design build and progressive design build for Hyperion and Terminal Island, and other design builders have won those projects. So we have a pretty diverse workforce, and it is a little bit different and strange in a way that it may appear to be putting one, giving one firm advantage over the others, but in fact, we received 9 proposals for the design build during the RFP phase, and we went through a series of selection and evaluation process to make sure that the team that we recommend to the board brings the best value to the city. So we take your comments to our heart that we will keep things to be more competitive in nature. But for this contract, I wanted to add that it went through 3 years of competitive process through a different way of competing. So I just wanted to add that for the public record.
Thank you for that. Again, I would say, like, this is a different circumstance because Jacobs has a reputation with our city that it's easy to do this. So I'm just saying,
Absolutely.
going forward, if it's not a Jacobs that has the experience at Tillman and working with our bureaus, I would like to see it different. That's all. But that will go to item number 3. But thank you. It's not to say anything negative about the project or Jacobs. I just wanted to be clear in the process.
Thank you,
Moving
sir.
on to item number 3, which is an administrative item for all council districts. The mayor has approved and authorized the Board of Public Works on behalf of the Bureau of Sanitation to execute the Measure W Safe Clean Water Program Municipal Transfer Agreement number 2024MP47 between the City of Los Angeles and the Los Angeles County Flood Control District for the annual receipt of Measure W funds for the period beginning upon execution through June 30th. Is there a second to my motion to approve this item?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Zatorsky. There's a first from myself, and there is a second from Commissioner Mitchell.
Okay, let's take the roll call, starting with you, President Corson,
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant,
Aye.
Commissioner King,
Aye.
and Commissioner Mitchell.
Aye.
All ayes, the item is adopted and carries forthwith.
Thank you. We'll proceed to item number 4, which I also believe there is no speaker on. It is a communication, a release of stop notice, Hurricane Construction Services. Hurricane Construction Services is transmitting a release stop notice in the amount of $265,243.50 for concrete flat work in connection with the Highway Safety Improvement Program Cycle 6, Project 1, 2, and 4. The primary contractor is KDC Inc. Is there a second to my motion to approve this item?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Zatorsky. There's a first from myself and a second from Commissioner Mitchell.
Great. Roll call, President Corson,
Aye.
President Pro Tem Grant,
Aye.
Commissioner King,
Aye.
and Commissioner Mitchell.
Aye.
Wonderful. All ayes, the item is adopted and carries forthwith.
All right, thank you. Ms. Zatorsky, have we cleared the desk for today?
That is the end of our agenda items.
Great, thank you, everyone. It is 10:46, and we are adjourned for today.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you. Oh, whoa.